The Power of Laws. Terence Karabo Moloisane, MAD Art Production. This book edition published in 2024. Copyright 2024 Terence Karabo Moloisane, 2024. The moral right of the author has been asserted, all rights reserved. Without limiting the rights under copyright reserved above, no part of this publication may be reproduced, stored, or introduced into a retrieval system or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, photocopying, recording, or otherwise, without the prior written permission of the copyright owner. Contents. Preface. Work with gusto. The law of work. Work is not the same as having a job. To work is not to do something, it is to become something. To work is to transform from what you are to what you could be. Work is an extremely powerful law. If you want to amount to anything in life, you have to work to become it. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone is willing to become a winner. Work works on you more than you work on it. The longest way to the top is through a shortcut. The law of shortcuts. Every time a scam is taking place, the sucker is offered something for free, a big paycheck, the easy way to success, or something they didn't earn. Without noticing that they are birds singing happily while walking into a cage, the suckers gladly succumb to the sexy, seductive law of shortcuts. Embedded deep within us is a natural innate to find shortcuts, to find the easy way to power, to get there quickly without paying the price of suffering. You think pride is the enemy because you haven't discovered what's special about you. The law of pride. Although pride has a negative connotation to it, it's an empowering trait of conquerors. I'm an author, you are not. As childish as that may sound, that's what separates losers from winners. Unlike ego, pride is based on facts, not emotions. Pride has to be backed up by monumental success, certain things achieved in life that are extremely difficult to do, which will result in building high self-confidence. Confidence doesn't come from thin air. It comes from stacking up your triumphs, and being triumphant comes from confidence. They are correlated. If the doors of perception were changed, everything would appear to man as it is, abundant. The law of abundance. All the millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires will always be on earth. No matter how bad or good the economy is doing, there will always be plenty of money and resources to go around for everyone. Look around you. If all you see are poor people, it is because you are poor yourself. Forget the news, there will always be abundant resources to go around. No purpose is superior to another. Purpose is designed to feed the need and inclination of the person it possesses, to energize, improve, and teach its victims through experience. The law of purpose. Without purpose, there's no reason to stay alive. It is damn near impossible to be happy in life without discovering your purpose. Why are you here? What's your mission? Look at infants when you see them with giggly eyes full of joy and happy smiley faces. It is because they are on a mission, either to start some trouble or to ruin your day. No one is fun to be around if they don't respect you, even your mother. The law of respect. You've heard it being said before, respect is earned. Disrespect is also earned. Disrespect is earned through cowardice, lack of ambition, being comfortable with calling someone else your boss, empty bank account, settling for less, and being content with mediocrity. Respect is earned through brave deeds, standing up straight, having a sense of pride, having higher standards, being scarce, having machismo, and by challenging yourself and the willingness to die for something. Seducing money is not a muscle trick, it's a mind trick. The law of seducing money. Apple, KFC, Nike, Netflix, Starbucks, the list goes on. They take money from us on a monthly basis and sometimes even daily. These big corporations know how to take your money legally. That may sound despicable. Take my money, you asked. Yes, we are not the Federal Reserve Bank. We cannot make money or print money. The money these corporations have, they took it from us. It's our money that we gave to them willingly. The law of seducing money is the art of taking money. The harder you work, the less they pay you. See Chapter 7 to learn how to take money. The highest paid people in the world use their mouths, not their muscles. Understood. Here's the exact text you provided. When man commits, he is forcing God into a corner to do nothing but help him. The law of consistency. Few are geniuses who apply the prerequisites of their dreams. To be rich, prepare to look poor. To be a genius, prepare to look foolish. And to be a master, prepare to be an amateur. There's no yin without the yang. Everyone is a successful dreamer. Even homeless people have dreams. What we lack is the power to change our daily habits to match our desired destiny. The magic lies in how are you willing to stick to what you're doing, because the more we do something, the better we get at it. True pleasure comes from getting the crown. The law of pleasure. Destruction is when you are ignoring your higher self. Fun is when you are medicating yourself to avoid depression. Human beings need fun in their lives, otherwise they end up being depressed. Everyone needs a healthy balance between purpose and pleasure. Too much of anything is not healthy. Veggies every day can make you sick. Grinding without pleasure is not fun, and pleasure without grinding is not fun. Envy serves a greater purpose. Inspiration, not hate. The law of envy. Envy is energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted. When channeled correctly, envy can do novelties. Everyone is a victim of envy. No one is above it. What really counts is the aftermath. Whether it inspires a thirst for power and success, or poisoning the heart to hate and causes feelings of inferiority. No one craves envy. It happens naturally. Envy, it's a powerful natural human emotion, meaning it's natural to feel envious. The cheat code to excellence. The law of pain. When everything is going according to plan, life becomes mundane and uninteresting. Pain is what wakes greatness. Only challenge and calculated risks excite men. Safe and predictability will never bring the best out of us, nor will it make us exceptional. The only lasting motivation comes through pain. The fear of, if I don't give this my all, I might go back to being an unimportant loser. Man is like a seed. Some plant themselves and become great. Some spent their lives on tiled floors, afraid of being buried. The law of competition. Competition is both motivation and inspiration in action. The most ruthless thing we do to ourselves is to compare ourselves to others. No one has your DNA, and normally when we compare ourselves to others, we take their shiny side and compare it to our dusty side. For instance, you might look at someone taller than you and say, "What a lucky bastard." Do not compare, compete. Anything worth doing must be done with a sense of urgency without wrecking the quality. The law of speed. It is very difficult for people who are moving fast to fall, whether in sports, business, a career, or even on walks of life. If they trip, they will float for a little bit because of the momentum before hitting the ground, and that gives them the advantage to think and prevent any harm. Trendsetters are utterly fast people. They look like they have superpowers because they take action on their ideas. When you're brave, it's easy to stand out because most of the time you'll be the only one standing. The law of balls. The idea that there's someone out there who's perfect harbors amongst the weak, strong people are made perfect in their imperfections. The more insecure you are about yourself, the less balls you have. To grow a pair, you need a strong mental model. Become impeccable, intelligent, and resilient. Firstly, realize if everyone had the power to change something about how they look, they would. Everyone. Without punishment, improvement is just a fallacy. The law of punishment. Insist on being sweet and nice to yourself, then life will be hard on you. Self-punishment is the best punishment because if you punish yourself every time you are wrong, life doesn't have to punish you. Every time we are wrong about something or forget something that is important, we deserve punishment. We do it to our children. What makes us above it? Punishment is here to instill change. If you do not change, it means you didn't learn. Smart people receive knowledge and change fast. Asinine people receive knowledge and don't change until it's too late. The pinnacle of every civilization. The law of violence. The foundation of any orderly society is violence. Violence is in the Bible, the Quran, and all over the history books. Some matters cannot be debated. They can only be settled through an act of violence. We are different. We share the world with all kinds of people, and we do not pick who should be born and who shouldn't. Some people are acquaintances, friends, and family, and others are the opposition or the enemies. Caring too much is neediness, and the after effects repel. The law of nonchalance. Everything you are proud to have is rented. Six-pack abs, high status, the top spot, being number one. You have to continually keep working to keep your six-pack abs, otherwise it will disappear, and you'll be out of shape. Reprogram your mind to think this way. The key to getting everything you want is not needing it, but attracting it. You will attract the things that you want when you carry less needy energy. Prioritize rationality instead of emotions. The law of pretending. Pretending has this dirty stigma about it, and yet ladies pretend all the time. When you meet a girl who is in love with you from the start, she'll pretend like she's not that into you, and it will make the guy chase her. Pretending has nothing to do with snaking people or stabbing people in the back, nor is it about being the Judas of the crew. It's all about dampening your brilliance and knowing which move will work in your best interest. Everyone is born with infinite intelligence, but the vast majority goes to the grave as idiots. The law of getting smart. The concept of smartness needs special attention. If you excel in school, it doesn't mean you're smart. It means you're programmable or you have a good memory. Being smart is knowing thyself and what you came here for. There is nothing worse in life than the lack of knowledge, and if you plus that with the lack of money, that's the ultimate disaster. Being stupid is bad. However, being stupid and poor now, that's very bad. The law of getting smart consists of very basic disciplines that should be practiced daily in order to be smart. Preface. These laws will help you, sustain you, and elevate you. Ever since the creation of Earth, we have been living by laws or frameworks, religions, and societies. Despise these laws, then you're despising power itself. The extremely amazing part about these laws is that they are universally applicable. Laws are the pinnacle of greatness and monumental success. You are already living by laws, either by the laws of slavery or the laws of empowerment. You can tell which side you are on by the outcomes of your life. Do you have what you want? If not, then you're living by the laws that are not beneficial to you. Keep reading. It's amazing how many people live by the laws of slavery and yet still complain about slavery. When you adopt these laws, you'll be changing citizenship. A slave to a king, a peasant to a conqueror, a peon to a professional. One thing that's common among us, it's our craving for freedom. Waking up when you want, doing what you want, taking a nap when you want, driving what you want, and not being told what to do or what not to do. Nothing is as attractive as lawlessness. By nature, we are rebels leaders. We kind of want to do whatever the hell we want to do, whenever we want, with whomever we want to do it with. As we grow older, we kind of get tired of our parents, teachers, relatives, family members, etc., putting limitations and restraints on us about what we should do or not do. To us, that comes off as this socially acceptable prison slavery. We want to be liberated and express ourselves in weird ways that the world has never seen or imagined before, because we are separate individuals. We are unique. No one is like us. If you look at all the irresistible people you have met in life, you are attracted to them because they have a healthy dose of lawlessness. In other words, they live a carefree life. They do what they want without the fear of being shamed or canceled. Sometimes those are the most envied people because they are bold. Judgment doesn't threaten them. They have the bravado to withstand it. You find them attractive because they do not live in the prison of what others will say or think. To be quite honest with you, you like them because they don't give a fuck. They are who they are, and they are not going to change to try to make you like them. And that's why you like them and respect them. There's a starving leader in every follower. A leader is someone you can't control. A leader upsets society because they don't conform to social norms. They set new heights. A leader is someone upfront, which means you might not understand what they are doing sometimes or why they are the way they are. A leader is someone who's true to themselves. They just are what they are. A leader is someone who doesn't mind being laughed at or scoffed at. Leaders don't fold under pressure. They are bold and fearless. They just know. Criticism doesn't bother them one bit. They use it to their advantage to become more eloquent. The closest thing to perfection is a leader because they can admit when they are wrong. Life is about a healthy balance of lawlessness. It's not about breaking the laws. Otherwise, you will end up in prison. However, you don't want to be a nice, gullible sheep either. There will come a time when someone has said something or done something to you, and your natural reaction would be to throw a couple of quick combination punches to their nose and neck just to make them sleep, to reboot their memory. But that is not a wise thing to do, unless if they are throwing hands at you first. There will come a time when you have to play by the laws of those who are ahead of you in order to get ahead or get promoted, but don't lose your sense of realness. For instance, you might be someone who is blessed and won the genetic lottery. You like a full-grown beard and you wear it proudly. But let's say you work at a restaurant and you want to be promoted. Let's say you have the skills and all the requirements. You will have to make some exceptions, either to cut off your beard completely and rock a clean shave, or trim it and make it way too short and neat. Laws will help you get ahead in life. Agoraphobia, theft, empty pockets, brokenness, backstabbing, failure, embarrassment, untrustworthiness, love bombing, illness, PTSD, depression, and losses are our daily battles. This book is about the daily battles that we face that may inhibit us from achieving our long-term goals. Chances are, if you lose all the battles laid out for you every day, then in the future, you'll be miserable. There is no doubt about that. Nobody sits down and plans to be miserable. However, when misery takes place, it's like we are the victims, but instead, we are the ones who have been contributing to our own misery. Here is a rhetorical question. Are you happy? Notice the question was not intended to sound cool or harsh. Let's be real. Life, for the most part, is not fun. Life is guerrilla warfare. Everyone has their share of suffering. And here is what's shocking. The purpose of life is not happiness. No one knows what the purpose of your life is. Only your paternal instincts do. The aspiration of life should not be to be happy, because certain things may happen to you that you have no control over that may cause you to be sad or depressed. For instance, let's say you place happiness above purpose, and then you find out that maybe you have cancer. Then you can kiss your happiness goodbye. You can overcome cancer. People have done it before, and maybe even be happy again. However, life is about the burden of responsibility, not chasing happiness. And if you are strong enough to carry your burdens and relieve others of their burdens, that may result in your happiness and greatness. As a species, we get less and less disciplined, and that is a real problem as we progress more in technology and building the world we live in, because we are headed into situations where we don't know how to say no to some things. By doing that, we are stealing the joy that comes with self-imposed discipline. Today, for most of us, life is very erratic. However, these laws will help you to predict your future and organize yourself throughout the unpredictability of your existence. We are always in preparation to be something or to become someone or to be absolutely nothing. Everything you are doing right now, you have prepared for it yesterday. He who knows and applies these laws is sustained by them. These laws will help him achieve his goals, and his demeanor will not waver in any circumstances. There are no hardships that will humble him. The laws in this book will determine whether you succeed or fail in life. They will open doors and close doors that need to be shut in life. These laws are systems that you use when you meet a door that is locked in your face. These laws are precepts in which everything functions. These laws can work everywhere in the world. These are the laws that will work for all people regardless of their pigmentation. If you're unhappy and failing in life, try and see which laws in this book you are violating, and if you're succeeding, teach the laws you're living by. My people are being destroyed by the lack of self-imposed laws. We do not suffer from poverty or lack of resources, nor do we suffer from failure. We suffer from lawlessness. We suffer because we don't know what we truly want in life. Therefore, we are gullible to any kind of influence, which will result in habits that we don't want that become addictions that we can't get rid of. We end up unhappy and blame others for being miserable, which is really their fault, but we are the ones who opened up to their influence to begin with. The law of work. Work creates luck. Work with gusto. Judgment. Work is not the same as having a job. To work is not to do something, it is to be something. To work is to transform from what you are to what you could be. Work is an extremely powerful law. If you want to amount to anything in life, you have to work to become it. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone is willing to become a winner. If you follow this law to the core, you don't need to pray. Keys to work. Become something. The guy with six-pack abs, the part-time rock star, the first author in your bloodline, the guy everyone thinks of when in trouble. Build yourself into a king. Adopt the laws of kings and divorce yourself from the peasant that everyone is trying to mold you into. Hard work before smart work. The prerequisite for smart work is hard work. There is no such thing as smart work if you haven't done the hard work. Our social conditioning nowadays is to skip steps and shield our laziness. Hard work is not as sexy as the results, nor appealing to most people as a success, but she is the beautiful one. You should conform to her seductive charms, just like you are charmed by success. If you obey her, she will bring you all the spoils you dream about. She is not as bad as you look at her. She's simply a matter of conditioning your mind to not give up on what you do. The law of shortcuts. Nothing is more expensive than free things. Judgment. Every time a scam is taking place, the sucker is offered something for free, a big paycheck, the easy way to success, or something they didn't earn. Without noticing that they are birds singing happily while walking into a cage, the suckers gladly succumb to the sexy, seductive law of shortcuts. Embedded deep within us is a natural innate to find shortcuts, to find the easy way to power, to get there quickly without paying the price, to magically appear at the top of the food chain without sacrificing. The only shortcut to lasting power and success is through difficulty, pain, and suffering. Anything else is bullshit. Keys to consistency. Consistency is key. If you keep doing what you are supposed to be doing, working hard, never complaining, challenging yourself, helping others, investing in yourself, being respectful, striving for professionalism, attacking your goals daily, and being grateful for both the good and the bad, there's no doubt about it, you will emerge to the top. The law of pride. If it can be swallowed, it's a sign that nothing great has been achieved. Judgment. Although pride has a negative connotation to it, it's an empowering trait of conquerors. I'm an author, you are not. As childish as that may sound, that's what separates losers from winners. Unlike ego, pride is based on facts, not emotions. Pride has to be backed up by monumental success, certain achievements in life that are extremely difficult to do, resulting in high self-confidence or a cocky, arrogant swag. Egotism is the enemy of mankind, not pride. The word pride is derived from the word proud. There's nothing to be proud of if you can't take care of your family, or if no one thinks of you when they are in trouble because you are just a typical, regular human being. That's why the slogan of slaves is "Be humble." Pride is not boasting. It's one of the characteristics of a lion. There's nothing wrong with earned pride. Keys to pride. The overwhelming majority of people think that pride is a destination. Not true. Pride means there's difficult work that needs to be done, tasks that may be deemed impossible that need to be completed, greater goals to be achieved, and fantastic things to be done. Every man starts valueless at the bottom, with only a select few individuals among your family members having genuine love for you, and only your parents loving you unconditionally. Your rise to power will change the entire dynamics drastically, so be cognizant of it. There will come a point where you'll have to settle for less than you know you deserve. A low-paying job to build your empire, a shack to build your mansion, looking poor while building a business mogul's portfolio. The temptation will be to try and speed up the process because you have seen your vision, you know who you are, and people only see where you are. You have to go through hardship to be the shit. Do not invest too much energy into letting others know who you truly are. Let them misjudge you. Let their insults keep you going. And if the insults make you angry, that's even better. Pour those powerful emotions into your craft. You need doubters around you to give you a glimpse of reality. Otherwise, you'll become too comfortable and rest on your laurels. Even though pride has a negative connotation, it's a great human emotion. We only have imposters to blame. We were put on earth to go beyond social norms, to struggle and suffer to achieve worthwhile success, to emerge to power, especially when the odds are against us. Only then can we truly exude the aura of our Creator. There's nothing to be proud of if your rise to power was smooth sailing. You'll feel like an imposter. Unearned and undeserved success is like a king who cannot wield a sword. Like winning the lottery, you won't feel deeply fulfilled, nor will you have a genuine sense of pride. Earn your stripes. Do difficult things. Pride has a negative connotation because the overwhelming majority of people think it's about looking down on others. Pride is about self-belief. We love lions because they have a sense of pride about themselves. They want to hunt their meals, and no matter how hard it gets, they won't settle for grass as their meal. A lion will look at a big, powerful elephant and think, I can eat this thing. Not, he's stronger than me, taller than me, or more blessed than me. To make it, you need a healthy level of pride and honor, if not for your bloodline, at least for those who came before you and suffered for you to be here. The law of abundance. Resist the scarcity mindset. Judgment. The key to a great life is energy management. A lot of misfortunes we attract to ourselves by what we constantly dwell on, our naivete, and not knowing what we want out of life. We are all fortunate enough to live the life we focus on. We get what we focus on or what we unconsciously think we do not deserve. Uncontrolled thoughts are as perilous as storing poison in the refrigerator. Ideas are powerful. Everything in the world was made by ideas. When you let your mind roam around like a headless chicken, you are creating experiences for yourself that you would not appreciate or would detest. Thought management is life under control. Exercise your might over your mind, and what goes on inside of you will manifest on the outside. Your mind has the ability to make things, but the only fault is that it is like a child. If you do not supervise it, it will go wild. You have to put reins on it to show it that you're the boss. Otherwise, your own mind will destroy your life. Everything is your fault. Keys to abundance. Time spent celebrating yesterday's achieved goals should be spent on achieving today's goals. Bury your past achievements and always challenge yourself to achieve more. To have more, you have to become more. Everyone must practice abundance. To practice it, first, you need to understand what it is. You can apply this practice in all areas of your life: business, friendships, relationships, etc. Practicing abundance means there is enough good in the world for everyone to experience and become victorious. There are no select few groups of people who are highly favored while the rest of us are fighting for crumbs. Everyone has to put in the work, one way or another. Practicing abundance is for those who have worked enough to where their choices in life are widened. At the root of all this is discipline. A person who has been disciplined enough in the previous chapter of their life will not tolerate being mistreated in a job because they have options and skills that qualify them for those options. They have made themselves in high demand by accumulating useful or high demand skills, so the world cannot do without them. Practicing abundance is taking the first step, which is to improve yourself to become a better person, a person that the world needs. And if they don't need you, make sure they need your skills. Therefore, when practicing abundance, it won't feel forced or leave you feeling empty with regrets. When you have done the hard part, staying disciplined to improve yourself, you do end up getting abundant opportunities in life. You can pick and choose as you please. However, when you are not disciplined enough to improve yourself, when you have not done any work, when you have not put in the energy and time into becoming better and investing in yourself, why would you feel any sense of entitlement or abundance? There is no abundance to be practiced or had. You have no options, and deep down, you know it. That's why most people do the opposite. They become desperate and settle for less in life. Both abundance and desperation are products of our lifestyles. If you have been lazy, unmotivated, and unambitious, no one has to tell you that. You know it, and it shows in the way you behave. Life is the best teacher. The law of purpose. No purpose means no enthusiasm. Judgment. Without purpose, there's no reason to stay alive. It is damn near impossible to be happy in life without discovering your purpose. Why are you here? What's your mission? Look at infants. When you see them with giggly eyes, full of joy and happy smiley faces, it is because they are on a mission, either to start some trouble or to ruin your day. Keys to purpose. Do not ignore yourself. There are things you are hot-wired to do, things that excite your spirit and maybe even scare you a little bit, because they might be things you are conditioned to think you are not born with or perhaps not capable of doing. A seemingly impossible task that you doubt you can do, yet you constantly keep seeing yourself doing it, in dreams and imagination. In fact, you keep seeing it everywhere, something that compels you deep within. You've been attracted to it ever since early childhood, and to you, it seems impossible. If you ever mention it to anyone close to you, they might scoff. Make time to listen to the divine inside of you. Put away the books, switch off the devices, close your eyes, and relax. Thoughts will come and go, distractions will come. Just stay still. They will pass. Discover the unknown mysteries of your gift. Purpose is what you are supposed to give to humanity before your demise, something that will help you to die without regrets and with a sense of completion. Purpose is greater than money. Most people are seduced by money because that's what we think we need to live. However, where there's no sense of purpose, there will always be a void. Money is a means to an end. Learn the law of seducing money as quickly as possible so that you can focus on the deepest source of purpose. We are never truly free until purpose is discovered. Your emotions will always be dancing, but peace and certainty come from your purpose, for it is unchanging. Purpose is where you go when you are sleeping. No one can teach you how to fulfill your purpose, just as no one can teach you how to draw a masterpiece. It's impossible. This chapter is about providing you with enough guidance so that you can discover what's in your deepest subconscious and bring it to life. Since the beginning of time, mankind has been plagued with a void, a deep, dark state of dissatisfaction. Although some might relate it to clinical depression, it's simply a search for purpose. Why am I here? Or perhaps, why don't I find fulfillment in the things my mind convinced me would make me worthy? That's purpose speaking. Life will dangle a few degenerate things in front of us to substitute for our purpose, like drugs, gambling, drunkenness, or gluttony, which is the quickest way to our demise. Where there's no purpose, there's no reason to stay alive. Men who haven't discovered their purpose will always invent new ways to kill themselves every day because life is not worth living without a purpose. Every morning when they wake up, they think of ways to slowly and cowardly kill themselves, to tiptoe safely to death. On the other side of the spectrum, men who have discovered their purpose ask themselves every morning, how can I pay homage to my parents? Through greatness and becoming an important person in the world. How can I honor my bloodline? By achievements. How can I make my life better and the world a better place? By becoming as strong as I humanly possibly can by testing and challenging myself, and also by being a superhero. How can I please God? By working hard, fulfilling my duties without complaining, and taking risks. The law of respect. Become worthy of respect. Judgment. You've heard it being said before, respect is earned. Disrespect is also earned. Disrespect is earned through cowardice, lack of ambition, being comfortable with calling someone else your boss, having an empty bank account, settling, and being content. Respect is earned through brave deeds, standing tall, having a sense of pride, maintaining higher standards, being scarce, demonstrating machismo, and by challenging yourself with the willingness to die for something you believe in. Do not walk around seeking fights or trying to act tough. Instead, address people when they step out of line, but do so without being overly emotional or aggressive. Offer respect and kindness to everyone. However, if someone hits you on your left cheek, make sure your right cheek is on defense. It's time to respond. The only true currency of respect is bravery. Keys to respect. Disrespect begets more disrespect. Most people have never experienced what it feels like to be treated with true respect, so they cannot fully distinguish between pure respect and disrespect. This means they have likely faced disrespect throughout their lives because they haven't done anything brave. Disrespect must be addressed early before it escalates into a confrontation. When meeting new people, initial interactions may seem friendly, but they'll often test your boundaries to see how much disrespect you can tolerate. For instance, if someone accidentally steps on your foot and doesn't apologize, your silence sends a message. If you don't respond, they may then feel emboldened to treat you as subordinate, further testing your limits. Many physical confrontations are mental battles before they manifest physically, and understanding the nature of disrespect is essential to avoid unnecessary conflict. Disrespect often comes disguised as a test. Failing that test results in a loss of respect. Day in and day out, we subconsciously teach others how to treat us. Without innate self-respect, it's challenging to project that energy outwardly. People can sense your aura. Why should anyone respect you if you don't respect yourself? Of course, if you have a reputation for extreme behavior, like having killed someone, People will approach you cautiously, but that's an extreme case. Generally, people need to know what angers you so that they can adjust their behavior accordingly. When they understand what irritates you, they tend to behave more like trained puppies, trying to stay on your good side. To achieve respect, you need to define what behaviors you will no longer tolerate and attach consequences to each instance of disrespect. Become the person that you respect. Our natural instinct is to expect respect from the outset, but that's not how the world operates. Even the most imposing figures encounter those who will test them. Often, if someone is disrespecting you, it's because you've been too familiar or friendly with them. If you maintain a serious demeanor, they're less likely to try you. The world is indeed full of rude individuals, and if you don't have your dark side at your fingertips, they may take advantage of you. You don't need to walk around looking for trouble. Simply check people when they overstep their bounds, again without being overly emotional or aggressive. If it escalates to a point where physical confrontation is necessary, then so be it. Always stand up for yourself. Throughout your journey, you will encounter fools who, even if you outrank them, will try to provoke you just to unnerve you. Do not take the bait. Refrain from engaging in arguments or trying to insult them back. You possess power. Use it wisely. As the saying goes, when the dog barks at the moon, no one cares. But as soon as the moon starts barking at the dog, everyone looks. Be the moon. The law of seducing money. Unlike poverty, money is shy in judgment. Apple, KFC, Nike, Netflix, Starbucks, the list goes on. These big corporations have mastered the art of taking our money on a monthly basis, sometimes even daily. It might sound harsh, but yes, they take our money. We aren't the Federal Reserve. We can't create or print money. Instead, money is seduced by generating multiple streams of value because, fundamentally, money follows value. If money seems to be constantly escaping you, it's sending you a message. When we become obsessed with solving other people's problems, money will inevitably follow us. Money is indifferent to our race or age. If you're valuable, it will chase you. Remember that our money is always in circulation with the people around us. We just need to know how to attract it. Keys to seducing money. The highest paid individuals on earth aren't those who rely on their physical strength or exchange their time for money. Those strategies often lead to mediocrity. Instead, the highest earners are those who know how to communicate effectively. Think musicians, actors, politicians, public speakers, and others who command attention. You've likely spent your life talking and gossiping without receiving any financial reward. Meanwhile, actors and A-list celebrities rake in millions simply for weaving tales, leveraging their imaginations to create fictional narratives. To attract more money, you must enhance your thinking and communication skills. We live in an attention economy, where money flows toward what captures interest. For example, during conflicts in major countries, investing in weapon manufacturers can be profitable. Similarly, when a specific disease is prevalent, the pharmaceutical stocks typically surge. Positioning yourself where money is flowing is essential. Otherwise, you risk becoming enslaved to financial limitations. Seducing money isn't about hoarding large sums in a bank. It's about ensuring that your money is actively circulating, funding causes, purchasing assets, opening new ventures, solving problems, and ultimately generating more income. Always remember, business involves money flowing in and out. You are a customer in someone else's enterprise. The prevailing mindset among the masses is that they must spend money to earn money. But what happens if people aren't interested in purchasing what you've invested in? You could end up losing instead of gaining. Ideas hold immense power, and the secret to seducing money lies in cultivating ideas that can attract funds from around the globe, even while you sleep. To achieve true wealth and freedom, your strategies must extend beyond the limitations of time. You can't rely solely on trading hours for dollars. Instead, you must find ways to create systems that continuously generate income, similar to how the Federal Reserve manages to print money seemingly out of thin air. The law of consistency. Sharpen your weapons daily. Mind, body, soul. Judgment. The impossible becomes possible. Difficult tasks become easy, and pain becomes an ally. Few are geniuses who apply the prerequisites of their dreams. To be rich, prepare to look poor. To be a genius, prepare to look foolish, and to be a master, prepare to be an amateur. There's no yin without the yang. Everyone is a successful dreamer. Even homeless people have dreams, but very few have a plan. What we lack is the power to change our daily habits to match our desired destiny. A dream is a destination. Consistency is the journey. Consistency over dreams, because even a dream can be a distraction when stared at for too long. It doesn't matter how much you hate being a loser. If day in and day out you practice losership, you will become a professional loser. Keys to consistency. Consistency is key. If you keep doing what you are supposed to be doing, working hard, never complaining, challenging yourself, helping others, investing in yourself, being respectful, striving for professionalism, attacking your goals daily, and being grateful for both the good and the bad, there's no doubt about it, you will emerge to the top. The law of pleasure. Even life in expert mode requires a little bit of fun. Judgment. Destruction is when you're ignoring your higher self. Fun is when you're medicating yourself to avoid depression. Human beings need fun in their lives, otherwise they end up being depressed. Everyone needs a healthy balance between purpose and fun. Too much of anything is not healthy. Veggies every day can make you sick. Grinding without fun is not fun, and fun without grinding is not fun. We are social creatures. We thrive off each other's energy. Fun can mean different things to different people. However, always remember to socialize. Keys to pleasure. In modern day time, boring is pleasure, and pleasure is degeneracy. When taken too far, pleasure can be a dark hole. Hedonism and pleasure are two different things. Most people live for hedonism. All they do is degenerate things to try and compensate for their lack of achievements. Pleasure only comes after a big kill, when the crown is earned, after the hard work has been done. Anything else before that is a cheap coping mechanism. The law of envy. Enlightenment is the ability to use every emotion to your advantage. Judgment. Envy is energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted. When channeled correctly, envy can do novelties. Everyone is a victim of envy. No one is above it. What really counts is the aftermath, whether it inspires a thirst for power and success or poisoning the heart to hate and causes feelings of inferiority. No one craves envy. It happens naturally. Envy, it's a powerful natural human emotion, meaning it's natural to feel envious. The objective of envy is to wake humanity up from slumber. You are not living up to your potential. You are not all that you could become. You are not crushing your goals. You are not strangling success out of your suffering. You are too relaxed to envy. Social media has accelerated the triggers of envy. Everywhere you look, it seems like everyone has a perfect life except you. Social media purports this false narrative that everyone is happy and everyone is successful except you. We live in the age of pictures, and every photographer forcing us to smile. We live for the gram, forgetting that not every smile is genuine. Most of the things that spark envy are pure rubbish. No matter how many books have been written on trying to better our experience on Earth, shortcuts will always seem sexy and appealing to the overwhelming majority of mankind. Complaining is easy, and everyone has something they can complain about because life is not fair. However, you won't be fulfilled until you challenge your inner greatness and take risks to become who you were destined to be, to upgrade your character and invest in yourself, just like in video games. The easy routes are not worth it. Fulfillment requires some dues. You have to pay the dues to be free from emptiness. Long-term thinking instead of short-term. The law of pain. Transform pain into brilliance. Judgment. When everything is going according to plan, life becomes mundane and uninteresting. Pain is what wakes greatness. Only challenge and calculated risks excite men. Safe and predictability will never bring the best out of us, nor will it make us exceptional. The only lasting motivation comes through pain, the fear of, if I don't give this my all, I might go back to being an unimportant loser that nobody cares about, or the fear of not being able to take care of your family when they needed you. Pain is a gift from above. Most men waste it on tears, complaining, and self-loathing, but it's actually a superpower. Keys to pain. There's no need to pray for pain. It comes naturally. The blessing of pain lies in not being able to sleep, having nightmares, and your mind racing trying to turn against you. No one can survive betrayal from their own mind. So make sure you always believe in yourself, no matter the circumstances. Pain will give you an urge against your competitors. While they are able to enjoy long sleep like they are practicing death, you'll have more time to get better and work extra hard to constantly improve in every metric. The first key factor is to make your mind your best friend, because you'll always have your mind with you. Do not let the enemies turn your own mind against you. Your mind is all you have. Make sure it's on your side. Make sure your mind is helping you to traumatize pain, to give your nightmares, to conquer the world, and to get all the desires of your heart. Some instances will be more devastating than others. The higher you go, the harder it gets. Sitting down to pawn is not an option that will only make things worse. The beauty of life is in the climb and the struggle. The fact that not everyone can do it or can handle it comes with an extremely high level of confidence. That feeling of being invincible like a cat with 9 lives. Your scars will comfort you. What makes men laugh is what will make boys cry. You'll become more formidable, and people will follow you without being hesitant or without you trying to be forceful. People will gladly surrender their openness to you. They will trust your leadership because you have been through hell and came back. You are a hero now. The second key factor is to make peace with losing people along the way. Not everyone has a strong will and is tenacious. So when things get a little rough along the way, expect people to turn against you, regardless of how close they were to you. Your mind will be with you forever. Make sure it's in a good, healthy state, and challenge and test yourself to strengthen the mind. Do not numb yourself down by coping out, trying to bombard yourself with entertainment. Life is serious. The last key factor is iron sharpens iron. What needs sharpening is the body, mind, and soul. So make sure your environment is for you, not against you. This doesn't mean hiding for no valid reason and avoiding conflict or avoiding going to where you need to go. This is all about when you are training and studying. Close the doors, switch off the devices, and laser focus on the task at hand. Let everything take a back seat. Be ruthless about it when it's training time, because the battle is guaranteed, my friend. As long as you have aspirations and goals to achieve, it is inevitable you will step on some toes along the way, and obstacles will be put in your way. Make sure all the forties that are working against you come from the opposition side afar, not yourself or around you. If it's from around you, they are too close. They can plot your demise. Conquer self, everything else will fall into place. When you pass the stage of pain in life, what can happen? It's already happened. You are now competent. Now you can operate flawlessly because life can't hurt you anymore. The more painful experiences you can handle, the more dangerous and powerful you will become. If you are not strong enough, pain can kill you, literally. You will not survive in the world by being soft and incapable. Problem tolerance is a muscle. To be important in life, get stressed, get upset, and have sleepless nights. Like if you don't have what you desire, you should be panicking and working hard to get it. Pressure is the only condition under which the body and mind can perform miracles. Pain is a necessary ingredient for greatness. There's no smooth sailing in greatness. We live in a safe world where even rabbits don't feel threatened. So in today's world, adversity has to be self-inflicted. The law of competition, one of the purest forms of improvement, judgment. Competition is both motivation and inspiration in action. The most ruthless thing we do to ourselves is to compare ourselves to others. No one has your DNA, and normally when we compare ourselves to others, we take their shiny side and compare it to our dusty side. For instance, you might look at someone taller than you and say, "What a lucky bastard." Do not compare, compete. Everything that you want, somebody else wants, and competition is violence. Keys to competition. Before you compete, make sure that's the right game for you. It is meaningless to dedicate your entire life to becoming monumentally successful if you are deeply content with being a loser. Some people were designed wholly for losership, and there is nothing we can do to try and change them. It's pointless. Don't bother the professional losers when they are having fun. Identify the winner who's sitting on your throne and go and dethrone them. Whatever you want someone else already has, it is best to learn the work that produced the results they have without being overwhelmed by their results. The law of speed. Move fast enough, you will levitate. Judgment. It's very difficult for the people who move fast to fall. Trendsetters are actually utterly fast people. They look ambidextrous because they take action on their ideas. Keys to speed. Make sure that after every meal you are still a little bit hungry. We operate like animals. A python is dangerous when it's hungry and hunting. After it has killed its meal and eaten, it becomes useless and absolutely killable. If your tasks take too long to complete, it might be because you always have food at your disposal. Food can be detrimental to goals. Hunger is the best motivation. When you eat too much, you end up slowing down, losing your sense of urgency because you become a little bit satisfied even though you haven't achieved your goals. Food can work as a cop-out to accomplishments. Do not eat enough to the point where you are totally full. Leave a little space for your dreams. Your stomach correlates with your work ethic. The hungrier you are, the more intense and fast you can work. Monumental success can only be achieved through speed and empty stomachs. Speed can put you in the top 10% of the upper echelon if you take it seriously. Imagine how your life would be if you actually took action on every idea you had. Who knows? Maybe you could have cured boredom forever. Everything that must be done quickly. That doesn't mean you cheapen the quality. It simply means getting it done quickly bears more fruit and gives you the power of being first and being original. Don't degrade the tasks at hand. However, speed is very crucial. The genius who's hesitant to take action will always lose to an idiot who's always taking action with speed. Hesitation breeds cowardliness. Follow the Nike slogan. The law of balls. Smile in the face of adversity. Judgment. The idea that there's someone out there who's perfect harbors amongst the weak. Strong people are made perfect in their imperfections. The more insecure you are about yourself, the fewer balls you have. To grow a pair, you need a strong mental model. Become impeccable, intelligent, and resilient. Firstly, realize if everyone had the power to change something about how they look, they would. Everyone. The mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on what you feed it. Keys to balls. Monumental success loves balls. The people at the bottom complain about unimportant things like, ooh, the weather is too perfect for me to reach my goals. The higher you climb the mountain of monumental success, the more balls it requires, because if not every day, at least every other day, there will be a new battle to fight, either mentally or sometimes physically. The law of punishment. Confront your fuck-up judgment. Insist on being sweet and nice to yourself, and then life will be hard on you. Self-punishment is the best punishment because if you punish yourself every time you are wrong, life doesn't have to punish you. Every time we are wrong about something or forget something important, we deserve punishment. We do it to our children. What makes us above it? We should punish ourselves to make the lessons stick. Otherwise, we won't grow. We will keep circling in the same class, low class. We deserve punishment because we are not always right. We are not always right because we never even bother to reflect and punish ourselves for our foolishness. That's why we will never be always right. Life is very giving and generous to everyone if only we could pay attention and change with the seasons. If you don't punish yourself, then you don't love yourself enough. Only smart people can learn the easy way, and that's a small percentage of the population. The rest of us learn the hard way. Keys to punishment. Stupid things lead to unending stupid things. It never crosses the average person's mind to punish themselves, and yet they expect to get better all the time and expect a better life. Like how, smartass? If you never punish yourself, you're assuming that you are correct all the time, which is even worse, because that means you have no idea how much you are messing up your own life. Becoming a professional and holding yourself to a higher standard is a way of life. Be brutally honest with yourself. Self-analyze to see where you have messed up, which metric of your life needs improving to make you a better performer, and to help yourself turn your dreams into reality to get all the desires of your heart. Here are some of the many different ways you can punish yourself: by doing push-ups, by increasing the reps in your workouts, or by increasing the intensity of your exercises. When you are late for something important to you, Punishment shouldn't come from outside sources. You should call yourself out and drop down and do some push-ups. Otherwise, it only gets worse, and you start inventing new ways and lies to get away with late coming. There's no pride in shameful deeds. Call them out. Shame is installed in us to help us improve and sharpen one another. Shame should taste bitter, it should annoy, it should aggravate you. That's exactly how we get better and change lives. The terms upward spiral and downward spiral are real, and life can be one of the two spirals. A downward spiral is when you keep making a bunch of mistakes and you don't hold yourself accountable. You'll end up at the very bottom. An upward spiral is when you keep making the right things on time, exercising, staying in good shape, trying your best, investing, sacrificing for the future, and learning. Soon your life will improve. Unfortunately, mankind only learns the hard way, and if you don't punish yourself for your mistakes, the same lessons will keep on repeating themselves until the end of your time. You won't level up without punishments. You'll keep on playing at the same level. Your character won't improve. Your lifestyle won't improve. Your bank balance will stay the same, and everything will never improve until you accept responsibility and acknowledge that you are a fuck up. Hold yourself accountable and learn the lessons. Everything will change for you. Punishment has nothing to do with destroying yourself. It is about elevating yourself from mediocrity and setting high standards. Every man needs a strong body so that nobody can attack them. And also every man needs a strong mind so that they don't attack themselves. The law of violence. Some problems in the world are just a one-punch issue. Judgment. The foundation of any orderly society is violence. Violence is in the Bible, the Quran, and all over the history books. Some matters cannot be debated. They can only be settled through an act of violence. We are different. We share the world with all kinds of people, and we do not pick who should be born and who shouldn't. Some people are acquaintances, friends, and family, while others are the opposition or the enemies. No matter how exhausted you are and how good you think you are, if the enemy chooses to attack you or the people you love, there are only two options: either fight back or vanish forever. You cannot argue with someone who is physically attacking you. That would be absolutely asinine. In the real world, no enemy will attack unless they are convinced that they are more powerful than you, and they know there will be no violent repercussions. To have unconditional peace, one has to be extremely capable of violence. Keys to violence. Just the willingness to be violent will suffice. Fighting and violence are two different things. Fighting can be way safer than violence, in cages with gloves. Violence is another level of murderous rage, to annihilate. If you are big and strong, violence will slice you to pieces. If you have a sword, violence will put a bullet in your head. And if you have a gun, violence will come with some terrorist shit and blow you to smithereens. Any government that's not capable of such atrocity will be a pawn to those who are capable of being evil to that degree. It's how societies are set up till the end of time. You can be nice and sweet, but your niceness won't mean a tinker's damn until people have seen how ruthless and vicious you can become. We subconsciously believe in violence. If you don't obey your government's jurisdiction, they always have violence in their back pocket. And you know that. That's why you obey the jurisdiction. The law of nonchalance. Practice detachment, judgment. Everything you have is rented. Six-pack abs, high status, the top spot, being number one. You have to constantly work to maintain your six-pack abs. Otherwise, they'll disappear and you'll be out of shape. Reprogram your mind. The key to getting everything you want is not needing it. You will attract the things you desire when you carry this less needy energy or vibe. Even when something demands a lot of effort, make it look effortless, and people will give it to you with ease. To some degree, we can all agree that life is about getting what you want and negotiating for it. And the number one law of negotiating is being able to walk away. Naked to the earth we came, and we shall leave with nothing. Never take your blessings for granted, but do not get attached to them. Keys to nonchalance. Nonchalance is not about moving carelessly and not caring about anything or anyone. Otherwise, you'll be an unimportant loser. However, the mind has a secret power button that can be turned on and off at will. Having access to such power is how greatness is achieved. Very few know how to switch off the outside noise and pay attention to the inner voice. Your greatness is screaming louder than the distractions you hear and see. The art of not giving a fuck is vital in your climb because everything and everyone around you is already trying to convince you to ignore your inner self and your mission. To gain access to such power, you need to meet yourself and confront your strengths and weaknesses. You need to be absolutely secure in who you are and how you look. Make peace with everything you have been gifted, including the things you don't appreciate, because that's what sets you apart from others. That's what makes you unique, not a duplicate. Make peace with everything, and if necessary, make fun of yourself so that you can move on to the next important phase, which is to be perspicacious. The world doesn't need that much reorganizing and cleaning. It's the mind that needs attention. Don't get too attached to people, whether it's your parents or your peers. It is vital for every man to become independent or interdependent because there's death. Love your parents and respect them, but don't be wrapped up in your emotions. Realize that your parents are just people who were simply used to bring you to earth. I'm going to say some things to shake you off, but who cares? In life, you have to attend everyone's funeral before they even die. Relatives, loved ones, family, etc. There's a time for everything, and we must not allow death to catch us by surprise. There's a time to be born, and there's a time to die. At some point, you have to envision that person you so dearly love in a casket. If not, you shall suffer the consequences. We don't accept reality. People have been dying ever since, and still it hurts. Haven't we gotten any smarter? Haven't we gotten used to reality? The pain is much more bearable when we are prepared for it, compared to when we are deluding ourselves and trying to argue with reality. Every man needs the power to switch on and off his mind when necessary. The law of pretending, dirty and nasty just like power, judgment. Pretending has a dirty stigma associated with it, yet it's a tactic often used by women in the game of love. When a girl is in love with you from the start, she might pretend not to be that into you to make you chase her. Pretending isn't about deceiving people or betraying your friends. It's about managing your brilliance and understanding which moves will serve your best interests, sometimes at the expense of your true emotions. A business mogul caught off guard might play the role of a peasant during a bank heist. There's a time and a place for showcasing your brilliance. Sometimes it's more advantageous to act like a harmless pig. Not everyone deserves to know your true worth or your financial status. Doing so can create silent enemies. Sometimes it's wiser to be perceived as a fool, unless you're genuinely a fool, because only the clever can afford to act foolishly. Keys to pretending. First and foremost, we are what we are, and what we are not, we will never be. Our emotions have their place, but can often deceive us. Everything is going to be okay, while you sit idly doing nothing with your life. Or show her how much you love her. She will appreciate and love you back, which is misguided. True love cannot be bought. Act out, yell, and tell everyone how important you are, how talented you are, and how much everyone loves you. That's delusion. To regain your footing, you must ignore these foolish emotions and pretend you don't even feel them. Wake up early, take a cold shower, and do what needs to be done to achieve monumental success. To win her affection, show some coldness. Don't always be available for her. Mirror her actions, and if you lose her that way, consider it a blessing. You were wasting time on someone who wasn't genuinely attracted to you in the first place. Pretending is a lifestyle. If you acted purely based on your feelings, you'd end up a loser, devoid of your desires. If you aspire to wealth, you might need to pretend that you're content with a temporary job, all the while knowing your ultimate goal is money without strings attached. This is how many people get finessed. They can't distinguish between reality and the act of pretending. Some of the most successful and well-compensated individuals are actors, masters of pretense. They might pretend to cry to elicit a specific response from their audience. Actors are trained professionals who learn to control their emotions, using them intelligently when necessary. The law of getting smart. Memorizing is not the definition of smart, judgment. The concept of smartness requires special attention. Excelling in school doesn't necessarily equate to being smart. It often indicates that you are programmable or possess a good memory. True intelligence lies in knowing yourself and understanding your purpose. There's nothing worse than a lack of knowledge, especially when combined with poverty. This combination leads to ultimate disaster. While being uneducated is unfortunate, being both uneducated and poor is significantly worse. The law of getting smart comprises fundamental disciplines that should be practiced daily. Keys to getting smart. To cultivate true intelligence, you must turn everything off and listen to the master within you. Tune out the external noise and distractions and make time for solitude. When that inner voice urges you to pursue something you believe is beyond your reach, recognize it as your life's task. Embrace it and own it. To ascend, you must first descend. This involves being hidden, buried, germinating, learning, and growing. However, not everyone needs to witness this process. It is your personal journey. Allow individuals who share a similar life's task to influence you, but ensure that you remain an individual and not a cheap imitation of others. Become a master of your life's task. That is the essence of true intelligence. Anything else is merely a psychological operation aimed at confusing you. All powerful individuals are recognized for something specific. Mike Tyson is synonymous with boxing, Michael Jordan with basketball, Elon Musk with SpaceX, Jeff Bezos with Amazon, and Terence K. Moloisane with authorship. But what about you? If you can't identify what sets you apart, you need to delve deeper. Freedom is achieved by expressing your ideas and bringing your imagination to life. Those who control you have effectively convinced you that your ideas are worthless, successfully brainwashing you into ignoring your own potential. This creates a slave mentality that stifles creativity. You start valuing others' ideas over your own, their opinions over yours, and their styles over yours. Ultimately, if you truly loved yourself, the world would know about you. Definitions. Balls. This term extends beyond the literal and refers to confidence in its purest form. It embodies a level of self-hypnosis, telling yourself, I can do it. I'm the best ever. I'm the richest, sexiest, most handsome person in this room. There's no one like me. They're lucky to be in my presence. In a world where losers often outnumber winners, you must recognize that 9 times out of 10, there will be more people trying to hold you back than there are who will push you forward. Achieving greatness requires discarding limiting beliefs and cultivating a strong mental model that empowers you instead of draining your energy. Losers are characterized by imposing beliefs that can infect your mindset, making strong self-confidence essential for standing tall among them. Take money. This concept is not simply about theft. The money you possess is derived from someone else. You've persuaded them to part with it, whether through employment, selling a product, or providing a service. Fundamentally, you didn't print that money. You aren't the Federal Reserve. You legally acquired it from others. Power. Power is the ability to have exactly what you want when you want it. It is also about influence. No matter how significant your position becomes, you will always require the support and cooperation of others, making a degree of influence necessary to wield true power. Uniqueness. This refers to being one of a kind. It's about standing out and not merely blending into the crowd. Streetwise. This term goes beyond merely sounding intelligent without tangible results. Being streetwise means achieving the exact outcomes you desire, marked by an intense effort to compel the universe to yield precisely what you want throughout your life. It's about practical wisdom that translates into real-world success.